Hello YouTube, it is Saturday, September 7th, it's about 7 p.m. What I'm going to attempt to do here is to make a timeline for this pneumonic plague that is so much on YouTube right now. I hope that I don't get everything confused. I'm not really good at doing these things. I have things written out. I'm going to have a lot of stuff in the sidebar, so of course you reading it is the most important part. I'm just going to give you highlights and headlines, and hopefully together we can make sense of this whole thing. My timeline. Well, first of all, I'd like to say that pneumonic plague is nothing new. It has been around for a long time. And there are cases almost annually somewhere on the planet. In particular, Nigeria and Pakistan are two that have had, recent within the last couple of year cases, and Nigeria may have them annually. In fact, I was trying to find a connection because of this flight that I mentioned in my previous video, or maybe my two previous, and it will be linked here also, the two flights that were forced down in Nigeria and India. Because of that, I went on YouTube and was looking for, was anything going on in Nigeria right now? And the only thing I could find was one case of a young American girl. I think she was 9 or something. I don't have a link for that, but you can easily Google it. And in fact, they were touting the fact that they've had so few cases this year of pneumonic plague. So I wanted to say that first. It is a very small world we live in now, and there's a lot going on. That said, I still think that this timeline bears looking at. Alright, so I begin. January 19th, and this is 40 Al-QUEDA terrorists killed by pneumonic plague. Now, I had heard about this quite some time ago and frankly completely forgot about it until I started digging for stuff in the last couple days. And what's interesting about this article is it really seems like, sort of, to me, a attempt to ramp up fear. They call it in the article the deadliest weapon yet in the war against terror. And they talked about how they were burying their dead in caves and fleeing and what have you. I'll let you read the article. The other thing that I found interesting was it said they have training camps are also based in Morocco, Tanzania, and Nigeria. So there's another Nigerian connection. We move on to February 20th, and that was when Hillary Clinton went to China. Because I became curious. I know that GEITNER went to China. I knew Hillary went to China. So, what's the connection there? I don't know that there is one. I know that when Hillary went, she was trying to improve economic relations and trying to convince China that, or not convince, but talk about how intertwined we are with China economically. And she mentioned that she, in the Obama administration, intends to restore the health of U.S. accounts. Then in June, we have GEITNER going to China. He tells China, who is America's biggest creditor, we know that its holdings are safe. So the only reason I bring those two things up is, how do we really know how those meetings went? I just know that in between January and June is my next date, which is when the planes were forced down in India and Nigeria. maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. We all know the economy is not doing well, and we all know, or suspect that this plague might be connected somehow, either as a distraction or as, to blame it on. I don't know. So anyway, in June, the planes are forced down in India and Nigeria. What's significant there is, while these are U.S.-owned planes, they are Ukrainian-made. So these are Ukrainian planes. Also, during this time when they were forced down, China accused the U.S. of spreading bioweapons via aerosol spraying. In August, China quarantines a Tibetan town due to pneumonic plague. Now again, this is interesting not just because of the pneumonic plague, but China is not known for feeling kindly towards the Tibetans. So, my brain wonders, were they dispensable somehow if this is something that was introduced? Also, it might be worth noting, in the article concerning Hillary's trip to China back in February, there was a lot of talk about the fact that she was not addressing human rights issues, i.e. the Tibetans. And she basically said the economy is more important, human rights are second. Also in August, I have attached an article just showing how they were ramping up the fear again about this plague. And I guess we were all too busy paying attention to other things. I didn't notice it in August, but when I was Googling things right and left, I came across this and I thought, well, that's kind of interesting, so I linked that article. August 14th is when the MOSHE arrest occurred. He was the microbiologist who was arrested, and he evidently was on a radio show talking about how a bioweapon was going to be released in the Ukraine. So again, here we have, Nigeria, Ukraine, China. And I have a couple of links for that. One's a YouTube and one's an article. It's interesting in that this man just disappeared. They used a lot of force to bring him in, so they obviously wanted this guy caught. They got him. No one's heard of him since. Supposedly he went back to Israel. It's interesting that what he had to say sort of is coming true. Now I also, while I was putting all this together, watched a post from SimpleDan. I've linked it also. And in that post that someone else made, and I'm sorry I don't remember his name, but supposedly in September, INTERPOL was doing a training drill in Poland. My time's running out, so I'm either going to have to hurry up or do a part 2. So he was doing a training drill in INTERPOL in Poland on the pneumonic plague. In October is when the epidemic first started in the Ukraine. And I have a couple links concerning that. Now November 7th, today, I have your latest post from the Ukraine. 936,804 sick, 144 dead, 43,762 in hospital. There was also a drill in Lake in the Hills, Illinois, for pneumonic plague. And I have the craziest one of all. The head sanitary inspector of the Ukraine says there is no plague. And that was given to me by CTOL1. He says plague is out of the question. So I'm ending with that, although that is the one that I find to be the least credible. So again, this takes us through January, February, June, August, October, November. I hope that all made sense. I hope you all